Welcome everyone to this Planning Commission meeting. The date is Monday, December 12th. Will everyone please rise for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. You may be seated. The first item for tonight's agenda is the actual approval of the agenda. Does anyone have any comments?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much. Any abstentions for anybody? I need to abstain, actually, now that I think about it.
Not on the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Not on the agenda. On the next one. The next one would be the approval for the minutes for the November 14th, 2011. Does anyone have any comments or changes? No? I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? I'm one.
2.
3 total?
3 total.
Who was it? Jerry, was it you? Okay. Okay, moving right along. The first public hearing tonight is Notting Hill. The location of the project is 15640 Pioneer Trail. The request is a planned unit development concept review on 9.87 acres, a planned unit development district review waiver on 9.87 acres, a zoning district change from rural to R1-13.5 on 9.87 acres, and a preliminary plat on 9.87 acres into 20 single-family lots and road right-of-way. The background of this, I just wanted to read, is a continuation from the November 14th, 2011 meeting. With that being said, will the project proponent please come forward, tell us a little bit about your project, state your name, spell your last name for city record, and then continue on. Thank you.
I'm Kara Otto, and with Otto Associates, OTTO, and I'm the project engineer. I'm here with Steve Kreutz, also the developer partner for SK Partners. And we're back from last month. We're here mostly for questions. I think we've done a number of iterations with this project, working with staff and getting the neighborhood comments. What we've ended up with is not making a connection, coming back with 2 cul-de-sacs and enough space in there to still provide some landscaping and snow storage. And we've met with staff, talked through that with them, and we think we've come up with something that hopefully the staff and the neighbors and the commission will be able to approve tonight.
Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. France, you want to take us through the staff report quickly?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. The staff is recommending approval of the plan with the double cul-de-sac based upon the recommendations on page 2 of the staff report.
Okay. Commissioners, do you have any questions or comment? As you know, I was not at that meeting, so.
I do, for
Okay,
staff.
please go ahead.
What is the opinion of the fire and police side for public safety on having a single cul-de-sac and not having 2 ingress and egresses out of that area?
There will be, in the packet today, you're only seeing a very small portion of the plan. So there's a connection to Azalea as well as Mitchell Road.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioners, do you have any other questions? Seeing that this is a public hearing, is there anyone out in the audience that has any comments or concerns? Yes, ma'am. Please come forward. State your name, spell your last name, and give us your address where you live. And tell us your comment.
My name is Joan Palmquist, Joan, Palmquist, at 8905 Cove Point.
Thank you.
And my husband and I represent the Sandy Point Homeowners Association. We have talked to all the homeowners, or most of the homeowners, and we have agreed to an easement that has been suggested by SK Partners. So that was one of the issues that was before the group last time.
Okay.
And I think we've reached an agreement. We only had a concern that was expressed by a couple of our members, and that is that there has been some sediment that's come through the cul-de-sac or the storm drain system that is entering into Cove Point, into the lake. And we've talked to the city about trying to get it removed. The funding was given to another project. We're just a little bit concerned as that area gets paved that there's going to be additional runoff and sediment buildup. So we'd be very interested in hearing about the final review that's being done here of stormwater runoff. And specifically, I understand there's going to be a basin put in. We'd just be curious to see where that basin is going to sit and kind of how that works.
Okay.
The home at the foot of the hill here has had some water problems in its basement already, so they were among the concerned.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
City staff want to take on that first, and then we'll go to the project proponent.
Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, there are two storm treatments for this development. One is an infiltration basin that collects some of the drainage from the adjacent subdivision, and then there's also in your packet, you'll see behind lots 1, 2, and 3 of block, I believe it's 3, has a pond that will treat the rest of the storm sewer for the subdivision. So the current conditions, the water runs across that property. So there's 2 additional treatment facilities that are provided under this proposal.
Ms. Otto, will you explain in maybe a little bit more detail about the project?
Sure. If you can see on the screen, it's a little bit small, but on the top left of the...
You're welcome to go over there and just speak in the microphone, and you can point to it too. Might be easier. They'll take care of the camera and the focus for you. There you go.
There is a...
Can you just grab the microphone and speak right into it, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
There's a holding pond in this location, which is in the northwest or northeast corner of the project. That is designed as a wet pond, and there will also be a small sort of rain garden infiltration basin in this location. Almost the entire site does drain to this northeast corner, and will be handled in a pipe that will be connected to an existing stub that's within Mitchell Road right now. So there will be much less surface drainage coming off of that area.
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Is that okay? All right. Very good. Are there any other comments or concerns from the audience tonight? Okay, not seeing any. Commissioners, do you have any final comments? Matt, do you have one?
Yeah, I just have a couple questions for city staff. I'm curious as to, are there any other examples in the city, to your knowledge, where there's a block where it is a double cul-de-sac on both ends? I guess I don't recall seeing a lot driving around, but that doesn't mean there aren't any. I just am curious.
We just were trying to think about that. I know there's a couple that are cul-de-sacs that come right up to a through road. I think on Anderson Lakes Parkway, as I recall, there's a cul-de-sac that comes right up toward the edge of Anderson Lakes Parkway. Forest Hills Road was an example that was cut off, but I don't think there's a cul-de-sac adjacent to it. I'm not aware of one like this, no.
Okay.
Other than the ones I described, I think there's probably a couple examples of cul-de-sacs that were roads that were never terminated, so the cul-de-sacs are really close to the existing.
Right. I'm just trying to think if there's anything that's where another cul-de-sac abuts right next up to another cul-de-sac where there's no housing in between. I mean, that's just, to me, it just seems a little unconventional. But that's just kind of my opinion in that sense. But the other question I had has to do with the amount of waivers. I just don't recall on the last plan that they had if there was a different amount of PUD waivers as
I think it's
opposed to
the same number of waivers.
Okay.
They might be different because the lots have changed a little bit.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have any other comments? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess I still have a comment or a question about Corral Lane. What is the length from Cedar Ridge Road on that cul-de-sac existing, or that terminating road, I should say, right now existing?
I'm not sure we know the exact length, but it's over 500 feet,
So
which is our max. This subdivision is one of the older plats in town, and it used to extend and go to the north, and with Cove Point, that kind of got cut off and never connected. So, but this is probably, I'm guessing 800-900 feet, 1,000 feet maybe. And what these two back-to-back cul-de-sacs are obviously not ideal, but based on the comments from the commission and the neighborhood, this is the plan that we came up with that would try to address all those. It does provide, having those back-to-back cul-de-sacs, as long as we don't plant enormous trees between there, we'll still be able to provide emergency access for fire and so forth if for some reason that the connection to County Road 4 is blocked off for some reason, which was a concern of ours.
Yeah, that was my concern when I looked at this initially, and wasn't here for the last meeting for the continuance, but noticed that they took away the ingress-egress secondary for Corral Lane, and on a fire aspect and an emergency vehicle aspect, that's quite a long stretch for large 86,000-pound vehicles to be barreling down there for whatever purposes there are on the end of Corral Lane. So having another access point is definitely facilitates that measure and mitigation of risk quite significantly. However, the topography is such where it would be facilitated for, on the top of the new development, be able to work into the end of Corral Lane. It's not ideal, yes, but I guess I don't have any real concerns other than that.
Yes, go ahead.
I guess I'd like to speak to it since I was at the last meeting, and Jerry and I are speaking a little bit off the microphone here on both being engineers and our background. It's kind of an inelegant engineering solution, but on the other hand, I think if you look at the concerns of the neighborhood and what we heard loud and clear in the last meeting, to me it seems to be a reasonably good compromise that matches the needs of the neighborhood, even though, that engineer in me says it's kind of an inelegant solution, but again, it seems to hit the basics. There's no showstopper in there that would say it's a bad solution, and I think that's what we're stuck with here, and I actually kind of like it myself.
Commissioner Kirk, can you outline in like 3 bullet points, since you were at the meeting, kind of the concerns of the neighborhood?
Well, I think the concerns of the neighborhood were, the things that I remember were loud and clear, were the increased traffic on Corral Lane. That's a small, dark, it's a slightly narrower than normal, as I remember, 25 versus 28 feet, and it's got a major curve in it. It's a dark road, and there was worry about a significant level of increased traffic on that road. That was the kind of the showstopper that I remember. There's also a grade issue right there, I think, as Corral Lane comes into Mitchell there, and I think the biggest concern we heard from the residents were the issue around Corral Lane and how the traffic, and I think even the study we saw said, I'm taking this from memory, something like a 300% increase, even though the traffic levels are still relatively low. It was a significant increase, and so doing something to minimize that, the traffic on Corral Lane was I think a big issue. And as I said, as inelegant as this solution might be from an engineering standpoint, it does seem to meet the basic requirements. And from what I'm not hearing from the audience, it seems to meet the requirements of the residents as well.
Okay. I know there are some heads nodding. Everybody okay? You're doing all right. Excellent. That's what we like to see. Katie, were you at the last meeting? Would you agree with?
Yeah, I think it was, we came to a point where I think maybe there had been some word about this not being developed, that there was going to be some additional discussion, or that Corral Lane was not going to be touched originally too, I think. I'm trying to remember. And then, we wanted to see if there were additional options to try and help meet their needs in addition to the developers, so everybody would be happy.
Okay, great. I appreciate the compromises on both sides. That's good news. Thank you very much. So with that being said, and I want to, Jerry, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just have One comment for city staff, I guess. We've had this issue come up a number of times before on temporary cul-de-sacs, and I think somehow or another we need to label or signage of some sort that identifies temporary cul-de-sacs so that people don't start to assume that they're always going to be that way, that there is some future intent that there's going to be a continuing road at some time. Because I think that people live in these locations for 20 years and it becomes a permanent cul-de-sac, even though that never was the intent. And I think that we have probably a number of other areas around town where we may be facing similar situations in the future unless we do something to start to help people understand the temporary nature of some of those situations.
Excellent comment. Thank you. Travis, you had a comment?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if this was brought up earlier or at the last meeting, but the improvements to the end of Corral Lane, the cul-de-sacing, is that something that the city is going to be footing the bill for, or is that something that's part of the PUD agreement with the proponent?
The cul-de-sac and corral is right now a kind of a, it was fit in there in the right-of-way, so it's very unfinished, I would say. So to answer your question, this cul-de-sac, as shown, will be built by the developer. They need to come in there to tear the street apart to get access for sewer and water, so they'll put the cul-de-sac back in the configuration in the plan, with curb and gutter and so forth.
All right, thank you.
Okay, I'm not seeing any more comments or anybody need anything. If not, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, move to recommend approval of the planned unit development concept on 9.87 acres, planned unit district review with waivers on 9.87 acres, zoning district change from rural to R1-13.5 on 9.87 acres, and preliminary plat of 9.87 acres into 20 lots and road right-of-way based on plan stamp dated December 5th, 2011, and staff report dated December 9th, 2011.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Congratulations. You can move forward with your project. Thank you very much, and thank you again. Okay, the next item for tonight's agenda is the Duck Lake Vista Second Edition. The location of the project is 17555 Eden Prairie Road. The request is for a planned unit development concept review on 1.15 acres, a planned unit development district review with waivers on 1.15 acres, a zoning district amendment with the R1-13.5 zoning district on 1.15 acres, and a preliminary plat on 1.15 acres into 2 single-family lots. With that being said, with the proponent of the project, please come forward. State your name and address for city record, please, and tell us a little bit about your projects.
Okay. My name is Dean Johnson. My address is 7455 Fern.
Mr. Johnson, can you speak right into that microphone, please?
Okay. My name.
Feel free to pull it right up. There you go.
My name is Dean Johnson. I live at 7455 Fernbrook Lane in Maple Grove. I'm here representing the owner or the owner's daughter, April Allum. And we're looking to take a lot that her father currently owns, split it into 2, so we can build a house on it. And there'll be a shared driveway which will create an easement for it, and also a maintenance agreement for it to take care of that driveway for both properties.
Okay.
And we also are doing this because I've talked to the county, and due to grades and due to the type of road it is, another access by the counties. Understandably out of the question.
Okay. Ma'am, do you have anything to add to that at all? No. Okay, very good. All right. We'll get back with you in just one second. Thank you very much. Mr. Franz, you want to take us through the staff report, please?
Mr. Chairman, the staff recommends approval according to the recommendations on page 2 and 3 of the staff report.
Okay. I think it's pretty cut and dry with this one. Does anyone have any comments or concerns at all?
I just have one quick question for staff. What is the basis for the guise of PUD versus just a academic lot split?
I think we're doing that because we have a waiver for a shared driveway. Right now, we require a 3-foot separation between a driveway and the property line, so basically have some room for snow storage, but, you know, there are a variety of locations in Eden Prairie where there are shared driveways, either because of an access situation, which is going on the county road, or it might have been dealing with wetlands or trees or other existing conditions where the private driveways serve an area better than putting in a public road.
Seeing that this is a public hearing, is there anyone out in the audience, yes ma'am, that would like to come forward? Please do so. The address of the property is 17555 Eden Prairie Road. Is that correct, or is that incorrect?
It's an error in the staff report.
Okay. Can you give us a...
It's 7,000.
It's 7,000
Yeah, it's
Eden Prairie Road. Is it?
correct.
It is on this one. Okay.
Correct on the agenda, too.
Excellent. I was obviously reading the wrong one. Okay, so let city record be known that the location of the project is 7,000 Eden Prairie Road. Ma'am, did you have any other questions for that? Okay. All right. With that being said, we've heard comments from the audience. The commissioners have any other comments or concerns at all? Mr. Franzen, you okay?
I'm totally okay.
Excellent. Okay. With that being said, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, move to close public hearing.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Chair, move to recommend approval of the planned unit development concept on 1.15 acres, planned unit development district review with waivers on 1.15 acres, the zoning district amendment within the R1 13.5 zoning district on 1.15 acres, and preliminary plat of 1.15 acres into 2 lots based on plans stamped dated 4th of November 2011 and the staff report dated 9th December 2011.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations, you can move forward with the project. Thank you very much. Excuse me. And with that being said, are there any planners' reports for tonight, Mr. Franzen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, we will not be having another Planning Commission meeting in December. It falls on the 26th, and that's a holiday. So our first meeting in January will be the second Monday of the month, and I think that's the 15th. What? 9th?
Details. It's only details.
Oh, it's right there on the calendar. I should read my packet before I come.
Okay, so this is the last one of the year then. Very good. Any other plans, reports at all? That's it?
That's it.
Okay. Very good. Any member reports at all? Continuing business? Any new business? If not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Second?
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.
If your car drips oil or antifreeze